As you all know, my state of Florida, my home state of Florida, I should say, I'm not currently in Florida, thank God, has kind of been falling into fascism for the last year or so, in large part due to Ron DeSantis, but, as well as the vast array of right-wing Republican legislatures that are in power over in Florida. There is pretty much full Republican far-right control of what is happening down there in Florida, and it is getting worse and worse by the day, and it just got a little worse. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signs bill legalizing anti-LGBTQ+ medical discrimination. The law allows any medical provider or insurer to deny care based on ethical, moral, or religious beliefs. And I want to clarify, by the way, this is not just gender-affirming care. This is medical care. As in, like, trans person has been shot or something, goes to the hospital, and transphobic doctor can now, like, turn them down for care. We will see how many doctors choose to make that decision, but that's not really relevant. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed the quote-unquote Protections of Medical Consent Conscience Act, a law that allows healthcare providers or payers to deny service on the basis of a conscience-based objection, including any ethical, moral, or religious beliefs. The bill provides no definition of what constitutes a moral or ethical belief. The law seeks to protect healthcare providers and payers from the threat of discrimination for providing conscience-based healthcare. However, advocates worry it'll be used to deny LGBTQ+ people gender-affirming care, HIV prevention medication, and other essential life-saving care. The law allows any medical provider, including doctors, nurses, ambulance drivers, pharmacists, medical health professionals, lab technicians, nursing home workers, and hospital administrators, as well as insurance companies and payment entities, the right to deny care on the basis of any conscientious objection. This care can include refusing to conduct research and record keeping or denying medical tests, diagnoses, or referrals, medications, and therapy, the American Civil Liberties Union, or ACLU, notes. The newly signed law says denial of care can't be based on a patient's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, but it provides no protections whatsoever on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Additionally, the law also allows healthcare employers to discriminate in hiring and bars medical boards from disciplining doctors for spreading misinformation. This was also a key point to this bill. There is now no punishment in the state of Florida for medical board doctors openly spreading misinformation knowingly. This is really scary, but it's honestly not even that scary considering the fact that this has already been an issue for a while. There was a dentist and a doctor not too far away from a place I lived when I was around, middle school aged. And after looking into them, because they were so close to where we lived, we'd hoped, maybe we could go to that doctor and that dentist, right? Turns out, after looking at their Facebook behavior, or their Facebook posts, they were anti-vaxxers. So, yeah, we didn't end up going to that dentist or that doctor. And they owned their own practices. So there's no one, at the end of the day, that they're likely to be, beholden to besides the law. Essentially forcing employers to keep workers who refuse to do their jobs, the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, noted. In a statement, the Human Rights Campaign said the newly signed law, quote-unquote, creates a license to discriminate by allowing a healthcare employer to discriminate in hiring, and it bars medical boards from disciplining doctors for spreading misinfo. Cara Gross, legislative director and senior policy counsel of the ACLU of Florida, wrote, "This bill is shocking in its breadth, vagueness, and government overreach into the private sector and unregulated businesses. It goes far beyond any alleged claims of religious freedom." Gross notes that anyone in the medical field, including at public and private schools, colleges, and universities, could choose to deny services to someone they personally dislike. Medical workers could refuse to assist in an active medical emergency, such as helping an unwed mother to give birth. Medical office clerks could refuse to return patient calls, and pharmacists could refuse to dispense contraceptives or medications to heal sexually transmitted infections, citing their ethical or moral beliefs. Small government, by the way, it's never been about small government. It's always been about states' rights. When they say the rights of small government, they mean the small government of states, like individual states. They talk about states' rights, small government, state government. They want the power of these things to be held on a more state level, because currently, as it stands, the best way to achieve fascism in America is to basically destroy any ability for the federal government to have oversight over individual states and make it so red states such as Florida can literally just go balls deep into fascism without any oversight and any way of stopping it or preventing that from happening. They hate the fact that there are federal protections for certain minorities and whatnot that prevent them from passing certain laws they want to pass. Brandon Wolf, press secretary for the LGBTQ organization Equality Florida, told the Pensacola News Journal, quote-unquote, "This puts patients in harm's way. It's antithetical to the job of healthcare providers, and it puts the most vulnerable Floridians in danger." And very much does indeed, because as you know, a lot of wealthy people move to Florida when they get older. A lot of these wealthy people in Florida, many of them running their own businesses, like their own medical practices, who want to buy cheaper land, cheaper real estate, they're going to move to Florida. There are so many conservative Republican doctors and others that have their own medical practices concentrated in Florida. And there are a variety of reasons for this, but it means that getting healthcare in Florida before this, as an LGBT person, was certainly hard. Now it's gotten a lot harder. Our state should be in the business of increasing access to medical care, not giving providers and companies a sweeping carve out of non-discrimination laws, Wolf added. Shame on the governor for putting Floridians' health at risk to score cheap political points. DeSantis was joined at the signing ceremony for the new law by State Surgeon General and Department of Health Secretary Joseph Ladapo. I'm pretty sure he appointed that guy. He has spoken out against science-based federal guidelines that support gender-affirming care for transgender teens, citing debunked studies about transgender people. In July 2020, Ladapo appeared in a viral video as part of a group called America's Frontline Doctors. The video was organized by the Tea Party Patriots, a right-wing group backed by wealthy Republican donors. Remember, guys, at the root of every single one of these far-right, like, public-facing organizations and movements is a very dark black hole of a lot of money. A source of basically an infinite source of money feeding them funds to push this shit and funding them to push it in a way that is as effective as feasibly possible. The group in the video, which had no epidemiology... in July 2020, Ladapo appeared in a viral video as part of a group called America's Frontline Doctors. The video was organized by the Tea Party Patriots, a right-wing group backed by wealthy Republican donors. The group in the video, which had no epidemiologists or immunologists, promoted the anti-malaria medication hydroxychloroquine as a cure for COVID-19, said that face masks don't slow the virus's spread, and that COVID-19 is less deadly than the flu. All three claims are untrue. Ladapo has written numerous op-eds repeating the video's false claims. The video has featured Dr. Stella Emanuel, a pediatrician and religious minister, who has said that demonic seed, quote-unquote, inserted into sleeping individuals causes endometriosis and ovarian cysts. Remember, guys, it's the left and the trans people that have abandoned the science and reality. At the end of the day, if you're trans, I want you to be reassured in the fact that the overwhelming consensus of scientific agreement has been reached on the fact that not only are trans people valid in their identity, but on top of that, that every argument that transphobes use against the validity of trans people or the idea that trans people should have access to gender-affirming care has been time and time again been proven unambiguously bullshit. Okay? This is just inarguable. But at the same time, the right needs to have a veneer of authenticity, and on top of that, of believability. Like, they're coming from somewhere scientific, somewhere facts-based. It's why Ben Shapiro started his slogan, "Facts don't care about your feelings." And the reason why they say these things is because at the end of the day, it's very obvious they're arguing from a point of emotion, or from faith, or from whatever unscientific position they derive their points from. But they need to wrap it up in a veneer of respectability, believability, and authoritative science. Ben Shapiro is obviously a good example of this, and that is why they have been bringing in these quack doctors who are literally batshit insane on every aspect of like, how did they get through medical school, and having them be the face of their movement. Because if a doctor says something, regardless of how many other doctors disagree with it, even if it's literally 99.99% of other doctors disagree with it, the fact that a doctor said it is going to convince a very, very sad amount of people, because sometimes that's really all it takes.